everybody, we're here. This is I'm here with some guys. We're gonna do some stuff. We're gonna talk about Marvel Phase 4. I got Johnny Donuts here. Now, you want to plug yourself quick before I let Putty go?
Sure, it's JOHNNYDONUTS777 on Instagram and my YouTube, where I do gaming playthroughs and gaming reviews, and I'm hoping to start something with wrestling, so keep in tune for that one.
Yeah, and I'm here also with P. Papa, Putty, Parkinson, Papa, Looney, Lollipop.
It's short. It's Putty. It's just short Putty. Everyone knows it. You know, you guys know me here. You know what
Esquire.
Yeah, Esquire. You know what I mean? And man Theodore Logan. Anyway, whatever you want to look at. Anyway, but Putty Man, the whole thing. Anyway, my point is, welcome guys. You guys,
Theodore Logan Esquire.
Yeah, you guys know me from Gamer
Potheads. He's not even Esquire. Sorry.
I'm trying to plug my shit here, and you over here interrupting me.
Sorry.
Like, you know, I'm on these all the time.
I'm sorry. Bill Preston Esquire.
Me like I'm some kind of joke. And okay, anyway, no, my point is, again, you guys know the links, and your link's always there, and you guys can come watch me, and I do podcasts too. Okay, let's do it.
All right, so we're going to be talking about Marvel Phase 4 here. We're going to go through the whole thing. I'm going to say things, and they're going to tell you information.
The same Marvel.
I'm not the smart one.
It's under the Disney umbrella.
Yeah, there you go. That works. Well, not the Unis honest thing, but we won't get into that either. Anyway.
That's...
Yeah, I'll explain that later.
If you know what it is.
You know what it is, comment below. Honest, we're good.
Okay, be quiet. So the next thing coming out, because I absolutely don't want to hear any of what you have to say about WandaVision.
Wow.
Falcon, the Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Yes. Which I will be doing reviews of that, by the way. I'm gonna plug everything I'm gonna do reviews for, which is everything. Go ahead.
I think that name is the first of all, just the only thing I want to say about this before I open the floor to you two is that is a wordy title.
Yeah.
I would have called it Bucky and the Falcon, but that's just me.
Yeah. Well, you got because you got to also look at it as when they both held the mantle of Captain America at any point in the comic. That wasn't called Bucky at the time. You know what I mean? So
I will stop you.
Yeah. What?
But if you go through the list, like the names are getting more and more ridiculous as they go on. Like it's
yeah, that's a good point. I never even thought of that. Okay.
Yeah, actually, we're never gonna get truly an actual like number 2. I don't think, because if you look at all of them, they always gotta have some kind of name, like some kind of version of the comic book, which is just so funny because you know I when I heard that they were doing Secret Invasion and I found out the title's actually called Secret Invasion, I'm like, oh, so we're just getting one movie? All right, okay, well let's just get into it. Which we'll get down that road once we get there.
We'll cross that bridge when we get there.
Yeah. But my point to the whole thing is you know, they kind of do that, which makes sense to do in one movie so you can have more, but they're going to run out of ideas eventually because Marvel's always been respinning ideas, you know, redoing them again just so they can reset the continuity of the comic. You know what I mean? Which I feels like that's what MCU is going to start doing.
Well, my theory is this too, is that they're going through all this and setting up, like this is clearly setting up the multiverse. So this way they can just recast everybody and put in younger actors.
Yeah, exactly. And see, that was the other thing too that I got into. When I do a review of WandaVision, I do a review of every single Disney Plus episode as they come out. And I had a theory, which of course they freaking broke my theory, and I had to bring this up, but I was so mad by Boner. The reason I was mad by Boner was because
I told you I don't care about your thoughts on WandaVision.
Well, you know what? I'm saying this anyway. I wanted to bring this out when you guys are doing your podcast. By the way, go watch their podcast. So link in the and anyway, my point to the whole thing is I actually was mad because I had a whole theory, and it might still be there, but it might be broken. And I want to say this theory now since we're talking about the phases. The thing is they always like to go back in the time. You know what I mean? And for me, I feel like they have an opening to do the No More Mutants plot, using that as a catalyst to actually set up what the MCU is now. And the reason I state that is because if she's able to alter time and do everything else, she was alive when Iron Man was around. So how do we know that some memory wasn't patched out or something like that? Or Doctor Strange went back in some kind of time frame to her and said, we need to change this. You're the only one that can do it. And snap, she said, no more mutants. They went to the Fox universe. We have the MCU universe, and explains all the little hints of the Marvel Fox universe that we got in the MCU, like it was still there. And that's also why Petra, aka Quicksilver, was split into 2 different versions, because she in the comics would never want to see her brother dead. She loves him so much that she would make 2 different versions of him and 2 different universes in my eyes.
But we didn't get that, and that's not what
happened.
happened.
I don't
that
think
totally makes sense. And now the mutants are going to start to trickle back into the universe.
Exactly. But then when I saw he was actually just a recast, oh my God, it broke my theory away. And it still could happen because I'm like, I even thought about it. It could be a reason for Doctor Strange to go, hey, listen, the reason I need you to do this and get it done is because if Thanos has control or has the help of Galactus or Apocalypse or any of these big characters like I can't think of anything right now. Mr. Sinister, things of that nature. If he had control of those, then they couldn't have won. That's why they had to separate the characters because they could only deal with one person at a time, and Thanos was the one at the moment. Yeah. And so, of course, then they snapped it and put all the other ones in the other universe. That's why Fantastic Four would be over there because of Galactus and all that. You know what I mean? Yeah. Which is also going to get into something else because I heard you guys talking about the Nexus, which I want to get into that because there's also other tie-ins. Because there's one thing that wasn't brought up was how the Nexus and the what's it called, the Black Forest, are now involved in the comics, and how the Herald to Galactus now is now Thor, which changes a lot when it comes to storyline and going into the Nexus. So I'm jumping ahead way too much. Let's go back on skipping forward.
I would say that's too, going back to that though, that's a little too current right now. I don't think they'll do that with just Thor just yet. That's
here's the reason why I feel like it's gonna happen. It's because,
wrong.
Well, here's the reason why I feel like it could happen. See, the thing is, as I was just talking to him prior to the podcast, I'm a big Fortnite fan, okay? Because I do it for a job, a living, okay? I've got to bring it up. But they actually said that the crossover with Fortnite and Marvel was actually canon to the comic books.
Not to the movies.
Oh yeah. Well, the thing is, they said it's canon, which means that when they brought in Thor, they didn't give us regular Thor. They gave us the Herald Thor to Galactus. He looks exactly like the one from there. Yeah. And they're doing the same thing with DC. They're actually saying that's canon with the new season. So it makes me wonder because if you notice, they're doing a lot of the new stuff like the Young Avengers. They're bringing in Ironheart, all this new stuff, which means it feels like to me that could possibly happen because they're trying to bring in more newer stuff and mix it in with older stuff, which is going to be something to get into when we get to like Fantastic Four. Yeah. So, all right. I'm going deep into it, but let's keep on course. I'm out
of the age group for Fortnite, so it's...
I get it. It's my job. It's my job now.
I just want to ask something here. So Johnny Donuts, I will ask you.
Sure.
What do you think of Falcon and the Winter Soldier, which is the only thing I asked about?
To be honest, about my thoughts on Falcon and the Winter Soldier, I think it's going to be a battle for the shield. Even though Cap gave him the shield, it's a battle for the shield because they're introducing John Walker as U.S. agent. They're bringing back Peggy Carter's niece, Agent 13. So this is going to be like more of like a buddy cop espionage type of show where they go on some wacky adventures, and it's a battle for the shield to see who gets the mantle of Captain America. It's a 6-episode miniseries. It's a one and done. So that's all I think it's going to be.
I kind of agree on that. And the reason I say that is based on the trailers, you can see how they have like that competition with each other. And I think what it might be is I think the beginning can be set up about, because you know how in the original Endgame, how like the Winter Soldier, aka Bucky, looked at Falcon and said, go ahead and everything, and that's when he went to get the shield. But I think deep down what's going to happen is there's going to be some kind of sly comment that Falcon's going to be like, well, I earned it. He's like, oh no, you didn't earn it. I let you get it. And then that's going to be a whole thing where he's going like, oh, you really think you deserve this? Oh, you think you deserve it? And it's going to be a friendly competition between the both of them on who deserves it more.
Well, in the trailer too, U.S. Agent has the shield at the moment. Because that's right. Yeah. That's property. It's not Falcon's property. It's property of the U.S. government.
That's true.
So U.S. Agent. So U.S. Agent has the shield. So I think it's going to be a battle to get the shield back. Basically, is my thoughts on it.
I have a feeling that this is like a wild theory, but I have a feeling that somewhere in that season, U.S. Agent is going to be evil and they're going to kill him, and one of them is just going to take the shield, and that's how we're going to find out who Captain America is going to be.
Well, the villain is already set up. George St. Pierre is coming back as Bartok.
Yeah, exactly.
But like, I feel like there's going to be some kind of twist there. There has to be, because there's no way they're going to go into the end of Phase 4 with U.S. Agent being Captain America.
It's going to be Falcon, I have a feeling, but
yeah, I think it's going to be Falcon too.
I think for political reasons, I agree. Because no, but
we'll get into that later. Don't worry.
I just think so because realistically, when you look at it, power-wise, it should obviously be Winter Soldier. But yes. I understand the reasoning of why you would want to do that. I just think it makes sense.
But there was a great run in Captain America where Sam Wilson was Cap.
I agree.
Yeah, exactly.
And it was a fantastic run. And if they go down that route, I'm good with that.
I don't see this Falcon being there yet, though. Maybe this series develops him to that point, and I'm totally okay with that.
But see, the thing is, they do tend to, with the MCU, they do tend to retcon and bring things in a lot faster. And at the same time, when they bring it in, because that's something I'm getting to later when it goes to the scrolls, is that, I noticed when it came to a lot of stuff like Civil War, it had a longevity when it came to the comic. Like it had a good bit of time, while the movie was just a one snap. And that's why I feel like a lot of these things are going to be, which would be the same thing with Sam
But
Wilson.
Civil War too, you're missing all the X-Men.
Oh yeah, well there's a lot of things you got to keep in mind. There's a lot of things. You got to remember,
War misses some big things.
Yeah. You got to remember Civil War. Everything about the Infinity War had a lot to do with that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I don't know.
Doesn't Civil War start out because of Reed Richards?
Yes.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah. And he's not even in it.
No.
Yeah, and that's the thing.
And it'll be another 3 years before we see him, probably.
Yeah, right, exactly. And there's so many things like I still to this day want to see Bagman. I don't know if it's ever gonna happen, but I want to see it so badly. I just want to see a crossover with Spider-Man and Fantastic Four, and he just loses his outfit, and they're like, "We got a spare one, but no mask."
That could happen in Spider-Man, the new one.
Yeah, you know what I mean. So I want
to see Daredevil fight Stiltman. Okay, that's what I want, and the Mole.
It's funny. Stillman's one of those things that I knew he existed, but I never saw him until I actually saw the physical. Someone do a review of the physical action figure, and I was like, "So this guy's real?"
No, there's also the Wheel. Remember the Wheel?
Oh my gosh!
Oh my gosh! These are the kind of characters that I may not have seen in the comic books. And what happened was, I don't know if you remember back in the day, they had those books where you had like the anthology of each character in the back and everything.
Oh yeah.
And, I remember they'd have those obscure ones in the back, and I'm like, huh?
The Wheel.
So, yeah, exactly.
Bring back the Wheel.
Those are the kind of characters that made me think I was actually watching or reading Master of the Universe comic books instead of actual.
Okay, be quiet now. Next thing, Black Widow.
Yes.
Okay, look, I'm gonna go first.
Yeah.
I was excited for this movie. I love the cast. I love the idea that it's a more grounded movie, more similar to was it Winter Soldier? Yeah, Winter Soldier. Which is probably like the best overall movie, like written, directed, everything. But at this point, I don't care anymore.
It's been delayed, or what's the reason?
that
because of all the delays, I lost all the hype for this movie, and I don't even want to watch it. Like, I'm gonna watch it, but my hype is completely gone.
My hype isn't my worry is the continuity error. See, the thing is, I still have a little bit of hype for this movie because I just want to see Taskmaster, even though they're doing I feel like he's doing a lot differently from the comic book. I still want to see who it is because of MCU, I feel like it's not going to be the regular Taskmaster I'm used to, and it's going to be someone totally different. So I want to know the mystery. And see, the thing is that what makes me sad about it, though, is I feel like Taskmaster is going to be gone, and that's not going to give him an opportunity to be part of like Deadpool's world, which I really want to see. You know what I mean? So,
see, with Taskmaster, I'm looking more Taskmaster master with Moon Knight.
Yeah, well, see, that's the thing, but they're actually making a Moon Knight series, so
that's what I mean with Oscar Isaac. Yeah. But that's what I'm hoping. You introduce Taskmaster here, and then bring him into the Moon Knight.
This is a strange place, honestly, to introduce Taskmaster.
I agree, but at the same time, the reason why I feel like he is good is based on his abilities. Remember,
he's going to be a she. Just going to point that out.
You think it is?
No, and it's cast Taskmaster.
No, here's the reason why I know why he's saying that. Someone actually made a theory that the whole
thing... A lot of people did.
Yeah,
that there's pretty, like,
that what's her name? I can't think of her name in the movie. Is actually Taskmaster and is just seeking revenge against
Florence Pugh's character.
No, the other one. The Rachel Weisz.
Oh, Rachel Weisz.
Yeah.
But she's a Black Widow. They're all Black Widows.
Yeah.
Because
they did a thing with like measuring the height on like the film, and it's the same. They're the same height. They have the same body size.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, whatever. Like, I mean, if she's, I care, man, woman, I don't care. As long as the actor is good for the role, I don't care.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, I don't care about either. I was just stating that seems to be like what people are all coming to the conclusion of now. Like, I mean, knowing Marvel, that scene's not even going to be. None of those scenes will even be in the movie, and that was all to get you like the wrong direction.
This is the thing I want them to start setting up for. Is I want them to start getting on track when it comes to continuity and things that are going to come in, and bring the mutants in so they have a part of that, just like they did in the comic books and their locations. You have to make an understanding here, and I know Johnny agrees. When it comes to mutants, they are way more prominent and have way more things going on in their world.
I 100% agree, but you can't use every movie I'm going to mention here to link to mutants somehow.
It can't be. Yeah, this is going to be a standalone. Like it's a standalone. It's going to introduce Florence. It's basically to introduce Black Widow back into the MCU continuity.
No, I get that. But
that's basically all this movie's going to be.
But yeah, well, no, I get that with Black Widow because Black Widow was made before even was in creation before even Fox's deal went through. But my thing is the reason I'm bringing it back, I keep bringing it up, is because people are going to be asking for it. And if MCU wants to live, it's definitely what they're going to need to do. They're going to need to feed the audience. You know what I mean?
But it has to be a trickle. They can't do it all at once.
No, I get it.
Or else they make the same mistake DC did.
Exactly. But that's my point, though. They have all these characters that do have links start trickling it in now. Like, they can't do it in Black Widow. I completely understand. But try to make something in there that continuity that sets up. You know what I mean? Like, we can't bring Death into the Infinity Saga, but of course we can find other ways of bringing her in. Just like in this way, how we can eventually, if we can find a way to let them live, let what's his name live, then he would have other choices of going there. Like maybe make the mantle of like Black Widow be the same, or not the mantle of Black Widow, but the mantle of Taskmaster kind of like be the same thing as Black Widow, where other characters play it. That way, then they can bring a connection to other mutants or another mutant in that way. That would also do it. I mean, I know it's going on a big thing right there, but my thing is I feel like Kevin Feige is smart about this, and he is going to trickle it in. But I want it to make sense, and I feel like that there might be a force to it, and I don't want that. But at the same time, it's going to have to happen soon for people to keep paying attention.
Yeah, but all these movies and shows that the first few that we're mentioning, these were all done pre-WandaVision, right? These are all delayed because of the pandemic. So these are all pre-WandaVision. So back then they didn't even know about mutants yet. So they weren't sure if they were going to bring them in. And so I feel until we get to maybe a little further down the line, maybe, I don't know, maybe Doctor Strange, these movies, none of them will contain a mutant thread.
I also think that before I just leave this, I don't want any opinions, Putty. I think that after hearing both of you guys talk about this, I now think that Taskmaster is not even going to be the real villain of this movie. I think Taskmaster is going to make an appearance and then leave to be used later, because there's no way they're going to kill off Taskmaster now.
No, like
there's going to be like a Russian spy thing that they're going to take down, and Taskmaster is going to come fight them and then leave.
It's the Red Room. I think the main villain is Red Room.
Yeah.
The Soviet.
That's what I want.
It is. It's confirmed that it's Red Room.
Oh, okay.
It's Red Room, and that's going to tie directly, apparently, into the Hawkeye series, because Florence Pugh is scheduled to show
I
up
heard
in
about
Hawkeye.
that. Yeah, that's good. I'm okay with that. Okay,
then I'm fine with that. Yeah, because that's what I was worried about. You know what, John? You need to stop your information.
Which
brothers.
John?
Stop the you can't stop the flow of information. Is that what you said?
Yeah, I'm talking to you. You tell you what, even if we're going off a little bit track, enjoy the podcast, bro. You're way. I thought I was the systematic one over here.
I can't. I don't know if you knew this, but we have like 12 more stops to make, and we're still on number 2.
We don't want a 3-hour show.
Yeah, well, but I'm sure there's some that we're gonna be glancing through, to be honest with you. So
all right, people watching this, if you've made it to this point, just keep in mind there might be this might be 2 episodes, and thank you. All right, I'm not taking 2 episodes off the table anymore. So Loki, does Loki have a name?
No, it's just Loki.
Okay, because everywhere I looked, it's just called Loki TV show.
Yeah,
it's just Loki.
Yeah, it's just Loki. Yeah, it's just called Loki.
Okay, so Loki's the next one. I think this is one where you might be able to trickle some mutant idea into it just as the first touching point, because
this series, sorry to interrupt, but this series is introducing the Time Variance Authority. So they're in charge of watching over the multiverse. So this is where, like you said, that's where we can get some of those ideas.
Yep. And I was just waiting. There's a scene in the commercial with Owen Wilson in the elevator. I was waiting for him to turn to the guy and be like, "Ka-chow."
Oh, wow.
Well, a little that far. He's like, talkie. Yeah, just a little bit of that. Oh, wow.
Yeah. What I'm also hoping from the Loki series, though, is to give it maybe a quantum leap feel, where he travels through time, space, different dimensions.
I think that's what it's going to be.
And righting wrongs that were placed in, this continuity isn't right. We're sending you here. You fix it.
He's gonna go on missions with Owen Wilson as a puppet, where that's controlled. He has a collar on that will kill him if he does anything wrong, like Suicide Squad.
Okay.
And then through like down the line somewhere, he's gonna start to want to help and be part of this, and they're gonna take the thing off, and he's gonna stay, and it's gonna be like the first time Loki had a place. That's how I feel.
Yeah.
Like
Johnny,
maybe not like that, but like
that's a good idea. I like that concept. But yeah, I'm looking forward to like the traveling through time and righting wrongs kind of thing. I like that idea.
Now, Johnny, maybe you can answer this. Maybe there was something I never saw in the comics, or maybe you just know the information. I just didn't bother to look it up. But I noticed that Loki has like a presidential thing within it. Was there ever like a time frame where Loki became president in any form in the comic book?
There was. I can't remember exactly when, but I think there was where he actually assumed the mantle of the president.
Yeah,
really.
I remember a cover of him like giving a speech as the president.
But as the president, though, he's not Loki. He's the president.
Yeah, he's the president.
Well, no, that's why I asked, because you clearly see it in the trailer, and this was something that I wasn't familiar with, and I was like, because when it came to Marvel, I will definitely say the mutant side, since I talked about a lot anyway, is the side I'm always on. But of course, you know, when I was younger, things like the Iron Man cartoon got me interested in the comic book and things of that nature. So I went into other things, but I know Doctor Strange was one of those that I didn't get into a lot into. And Thor was the same way, where I read some of the comics because another comic might lead into it, but I never focused purely on it.
Thor and Doctor Strange were very niche comics.
But as was Iron Man in the early days too.
Iron Man was not a very well-known, like when I was in my, this is going to date me now, but when I was in my early teens, the X-Men cartoon was on and the Spider-Man cartoon was on. And that's kind of like what started me into, and that's where I branched out into other stuff. I started going back, collecting older issues, seeing other comics. One of the series that we're going to talk about later, I really was into the What If series of comics.
I was too. Oh my God, I loved them. Well, I
was not expecting you to stop there. I was just
no. Loki, it went dead for a second, but yeah, Loki did at one time. I think it was in the late '80s, early '90s. He did portray the president.
Okay, yeah. See, and that was the thing that I was concerned about was I didn't know if that was, because that's the one thing I love about the MCU, but then I tend to get frustrated is I'll see something and I go, is that in the comics? And I'll do my research and I can't find the roads leading to it. And the president one wasn't one I was going to lead into, because I just knew, okay, you didn't read much Thor. You can at least drop that as one that you could do research when it comes out, when you have to actually do the show. But and that's where, because the thing is, I was also reading Image comics, Dark Horse comics back in the day, things that nature.
Savage Dragon.
Oh man, Savage Dragon. We've had this. Me and him were talking about Exo Manowar. I was a huge Gen 13 comic book fan. Oh, and of course I had Spawn.
I had the game on Sega Saturn.
Yeah. See, I'm just a quick one, Johnny. My first comic was actually the first Ninja Turtles comic that ever came out. I found a baseball shop.
Eastman one.
Yes, the Eastman and Lard. Yep, the Eastman and Lard ones. And see, things. I got that, and then the cartoon came out, and then all of a sudden I'm like, what? I have this comic. And then all of a sudden comics were a big thing to me, where I was looking up other comics. And of course, I did have some X-Men comics, but all of a sudden the cartoon came out, and I was like, all right, I like this. I want more of these comics. And that's when I found out Jubilee, which actually I thought Jubilee was part of the comics first. I didn't know she was kind of like an adapted cartoon character.
Same way what they did with Harley in the Batman series.
Exactly. Yeah. So that helped me out. That was like, oh, I got to look more into this, and I then delve into it. And I'm going to talk about later on about what my favorite one is. I can't wait. Anyway, go ahead.
Oh, sorry, by the way, the new, well, I don't know how new it is anymore because I haven't been to a comic book store in like 2 years, but the Exo Manowar restart or reboot is really good.
I gotta go check that out. Yeah, I remember Exo Manowar. There was like I was saying, there was the Exo and Iron Man game that on the Sega Saturn.
I remember that. Oh my God, I remember that.
Yeah, do you still have your Sega Saturn and all the games?
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I remember you used to have a huge stack of games.
Oh yeah, my Sega Saturn. That's one of the in storage. You don't understand what I still have.
I'm jealous you have that. I had every single Sega console going to the Dreamcast. Everyone was like, I don't understand why you play your Dreamcast so much. I'm like, it's a great system.
Dreamcast is way ahead of its time.
It was. If you play Shenmue, Dreamcast was worth it.
Well, see, I'm a Sega fanboy no matter what. I've been a Sega fanboy since I was a kid. Like I had a Nintendo and a Super Nintendo and a Sega Genesis and a Sega Master System. So I was that kid. System. Yeah, I was the kid that came over to play the dual consoles. But they were like, the reason they started coming over is because I was the one that had Mortal Kombat and they had the Super Nintendo, and they're like, I hate you. You got blood code, and I'm like, yeah, I do. You know. But my point, the whole thing is I remember games like Maximum Carnage were one of those things that was huge for me as well, and a lot of people aren't even aware.
I rented Maximum Carnage, and Maximum Carnage, the X-Men arcade game, and the Justice League when it was like a fighter game. I rented those.
I remember that. We were in Florida.
Yeah, and you don't.
Oh my God, we were there.
Yeah, we played that game so much. I used to go to Microplay. Do you remember the store Microplay? The game rental place. Oh my God.
I'll be over here, guys, when you're done.
Yeah. Anyways, okay, that's it.
But go on. Yeah. Enough about gaming.
I'm gonna go on to the next one, and this is a weird one for me because it's probably my most hyped of the movies coming out.
Really?
I mean, Spider-Man's pretty up there, but I read my focus when I read comics is I like to read obscure people. You know that. I don't like to read the main people. I hate Superman, Spider-Man. I don't want to read any of that. So yeah, we're definitely doing 2 episodes, but Shang-Chi it looks really interesting, and I don't know anything about this character. Like I said, for someone who reads obscure comics, I know nothing about this person.
Not a lot is known. That's where we start with the obscure titles too.
Yeah, see, that's the problem. Is I'm aware of it. I was always aware of it, but the reason I don't know it is because of the Mandarin, and when I heard they were doing, I'm like, okay, hopefully they'll fix that. But already I feel like it's been broken for me, to be honest with you, and that's because I grew up with it being a crucial character through the Iron Man cartoon and the comic books. So to see them mess it up so badly in my eyes, because everyone loves Iron Man 3, and I despise it, to be honest with you. You know what I mean? It trickled in my head when I saw that it wasn't him and I found out the other guy was. For some reason, it bothered me the whole time. Like, I could not get over it. And that's because that's kind of like having Batman, and all of a sudden Joker comes in looking like a guy with a tattoo. Oh, wait, they've already done that. My point is,
that was so good.
That's what they did with the Mandarin for me. You know,
you just dunked on Jared Leto so hard right there.
I'm sorry, unless he does good in the new Zack Snyder movie, unless he blows it out of the water from that one, he really screwed up the Joker for me, and that's the way I felt about the Mandarin. That was a crucial part, and then not having the rings. What the hell, man?
But
okay, I really liked him.
Sorry, but they retconned that though. They retconned it because at the end of, I think it's at the end of Dark World. Remember, they're doing that interview, Hail to the King. There was that little short. Yeah. And they retconned it. They broke Ben Kingsley out of prison, and they're bringing him to the Mandarin.
Yeah, see, I saw that and everything, but that's still that still kind of brings up the you see how they're doing it. They're trying to fix it in their own way. Yeah, and it's always going to be in the back of my head that you guys screwed this up. Like, you guys were doing too much of what Fox did when it came to the X-Men brand, and we have a situation here where Sabretooth's looking at Wolverine like, I have no fucking idea who you are. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and it feels like that to me because, of course, you were wanting, when you watched X-Men the first time, I know you were the same way as me, John. You were just waiting for that moment where they were going to know each other, and then all of a sudden they're like delusional, and that's kind of what the Mandarin felt like. I mean, like, I'm waiting for
X-Men. Every coming like following movie in X-Men, every next movie that came out retconned something that happened in the last movie.
I know.
Yeah, and they progressively were getting worse and worse.
As much as I say that, though, a lot like X-Men, there's a lot of bad ones, but there are some amazing ones too.
Course.
Like
First Class is still one of the best in X.
First Class is my favorite. Well, I don't count Logan as being an X-Men movie, but Logan is the best one to me.
Logan, by far. By far.
Yeah. I mean, they
and the
made
less
a lot
we talk about Origins, the better.
Yeah, like I listened. The first time I watched
Origins, Origins that does not exist in my world.
Okay, so
Origins does
I'm
not
muting
exist.
you. We're gonna mute Putty.
Or you can ask John.
The first time I watched that movie, I watched it unfinished. It had no visual effects.
I did the same thing. The wireframe.
Yeah, it was a wireframe, and I didn't even know that Deadpool looked like that because the version I had, he looked like it was just Ryan Reynolds with 2 things attached to his arms. Yeah. And then when I saw,
I would have rather had that than what they had in the movie.
I probably would too, because you don't understand. I've never walked out of a Marvel movie until the point of when I saw him come in and Logan said, Stryker found a way to shut you up. I'm like, did they just sew his mouth? And I was sitting there, and then all of a sudden I saw the blades come out. I literally walked out of the theater. I was like, when did my freaking Deadpool become Baraka? When did he become Baraka? You know what I mean? Look at him. He had blades coming on his hand like he was Baraka, and I understand he's bold, but oh god, it just, okay. Anyway, it pissed me off. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm not gonna even get into that.
Let's keep going. So we're talking about Shang-Chi. I like the casting of Simu Liu, the guy from Kim's Convenience.
Yeah, I know what's funny. Shout out Canadian. Put it in there.
Right. So, and like I said about the whole Trevor Slattery, his character is coming back. So I kind of like that.
Okay,
Yeah,
good.
that's all I
know.
can say about Shang-Chi.
I think they did a really good job with the casting. I think there's a lot of good parts in here. I forget his name, Tony, the guy they bring in to do Mandarin.
Yeah,
I'm drawing a blank. Yes,
Tony Leung.
Yeah, and then you brought Aquafina. Aquafina's been good in everything she's been in lately.
And that's star power.
So I'm pretty excited. I got to be honest, and like I said, I like the obscure stuff. And
I want to see like a Bruce Lee kung fu type of movie.
Yeah, I want them to go. I want them to do this the way they should have done Iron Fist.
Yes, agreed.
And see, unfortunately for me though, again, this is definitely one of the series like that I'm not gonna be knowledgeable about, but I know, like, for example, this is one I'm gonna have to do more research, because when I do reviews, I'll think, oh yeah, this reminds me of something, and this might have those moments, but because I'm not that familiar and didn't actually read the series, and I only knew about it because of connecting comics, it's just one of those things where it's like, I'm just gonna have to see, and actually, I'm gonna enjoy it as a new person. Actually, kind of.
Yeah, you can go in with fresh eyes without being diluted with past continuity.
Exactly, and that's the thing. This is what's not been happening to me when it comes to all the Marvel series. At least there's something I know. You know what I mean? Like, I'm familiar. I read the comics. I read the Vision comic, the one that didn't have actual that didn't have Scarlet Witch, or not Scarlet Witch, but Wanda Maximoff in it. So this is stuff I knew going in and everything. Like when I saw Sparky, I'm like, oh my god, I realized it. This is gonna be one of those times where I'm gonna actually have to do my research. But I think it's gonna be good, because when I come in to do it, I'm actually gonna say, hey, and that's good. The reason I'm like that is because I think a lot of people are gonna have that same thing where they're familiar. This is gonna be one of those movies they go into and go, I had no idea about this, and I'm excited to find out how it links to what I already know. You know what I mean?
See, that's a good thing. We'll end it on this part for this episode, but that's a good thing I think about this. About Shang-Chi is it's going to introduce a whole new thing that nobody knew about. It's something to look forward to, something fresh, and I just like the way that they're going with it. I just hope that somewhere in this movie, Liam Neeson doesn't pop up as Ra's al Ghul. All right. So thank you for watching episode 1. Episode 2 will be coming, and have a good day.
Wicked.